let me take a moment to welcome you, our faithful, valuable, and wonderful viewers from around the world, and our special guest coming from LA, from Tinseltown, Michael Cavalieri. Michael, welcome to the show, my friend. It's a pleasure.
Jim, thank you so much. Thank you. It's an honor for me to be here with everybody. Thank you so much.
I wish I could send you some pizza and bagels from the East Coast screen.
Please do. Please help me. Help me out here. It's terrible. It's terrible.
I was going to say, have you found some good pizza places there?
There's a few. Yeah. You know what the real trick is? My wife's a very good cook. She's from Italy, her family, so we make pizza at home. That's the trick.
You make the pizza, huh? That's fantastic.
We make the dough fresh, and we do the tomatoes, fresh tomatoes, and all the stuff. So
that is cool.
It's beautiful.
Do you cook too? You help out?
I do cook, but not. I help out. I used to cook a lot, but now we have a baby, so it's a little bit crazy. Mateo, my son Mateo, was just born 4 months ago.
Bravo, congratulations! Yes. Wow.
Thank you, sir. My buddy.
That's beautiful.
My buddy, my good boy.
Oh, yeah, Mateo, yes, that's fantastic. Isn't that Andrea Bocelli's son's name is Mateo as well, right?
Exactly.
Mateo Bocelli.
Yeah, it's. I got to tell you, it's just life is full circle, Jen. You know what I mean? It just when you said all that stuff about finding my roots, it brought me to tears.
Well, I appreciate that. And, when you look back, and it's kind of like Ralph Edwards, this is your life a little bit. And, when you hear some of the things, you're so busy and you do one thing to the next. It's amazing when you sort of summarize it and you're still going at it. And with everything else that we talked about, and we'll talk about some of those other things that people know you for, but you went back to Italy. And you captured something very, very special with Ritornato. Tell us about the inspiration, the purpose, the theme, and why now?
That's a very, very unbelievable question. I lost my parents, and I lost my sister. When I lost my sister, I felt lost and alone. And I said, you know what? I need to go back. I need to go back to the place where it all started for my family. And my grandfather and I were very close. So I said, I got to start there. I had to go back to Grandpa's house, find his home. And I didn't know what I would find, to be honest with you. I used to hear stories when I was younger. This story, this is the town he's from. He didn't speak any English, but all I remember was being in the tomato garden with him, and he would pinch my cheek or give me a kiss, put his little Coppola cap on my head. And I would feel his emotions through that. So that's what I recall, those moments. So when my sister passed away, I was really lost, to be honest with you, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And I said to my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, I said, we need to go back. And we made a journey to Limina, Sicily, where my grandfather's hometown. And I thought maybe I'd find a street, a road somewhere. And my cousin had told me that this is exactly where he is. This is the story. This is actually the cemetery where my grandfather is in that shot right there. And I was staying in Terramina, a really fancy town, and I had my driver take me up to Lima. And he goes, why you go to Lima? Nobody goes to Lima. I said, I want to go to Lima. I want to see my grandfather. He goes, okay, we go. So we get in the car and we went up maybe 1,000 feet up into the sky, and we passed the sign of Limina. And as you see right here, that's the sign. That was my first moment in Limina. I jumped out of the car, stepped on the cement pylon, and put my hands there and said, Mama, Grandpa, I made it back for you. So we drove into this little town, and we went into the municipal office, and I said, my name is Alabrandi, and my translator was talking to them, and some lady was like, it was like out of a movie. She goes, who's Alabrandi? And I go, me. She goes, momento. And she turns around and she went on a phone, I think, and I was talking with the lady at the municipal office, and my driver was talking Sicilian. I'm trying to figure out what they're saying because Sicilian's not Italian. It's a whole nother world. Anyway, Lo and behold, this gentleman walks in and he goes, "Who's Ala Brownie?" And I look and I said, "Me." He goes, "I know everything." I said, "You know everything? What do you know?" He comes over to the desk and he's talking to the lady, and they're talking to me, and I'm trying to figure out what he's saying, and I'm not exactly sure. And then he goes to me, he goes like this, Jim, he goes, "Come with me." So my wife, Maria, and I, we walk across, maybe it had to be about 200 feet across the street to a cafe. We go inside the cafe, and I'm standing in the doorway, and I'm looking at this guy who's got glasses on, he's holding a cane, and he's hysterical crying. I'm thinking in my head, as I stand in the doorway, why is this guy looking at me and why is he crying? I don't know what's going on. So the gentleman who came to the municipal building, he goes, "Come, I bring you espresso." And we sit at the table. And we sit, and they start my drive Sicilian. And I'm totally confused. And the old, he's a very sick man, so he can't, just kind of crying. And he's whistling for like 15 minutes. And then the translators tell me what they're saying. I'm like, "No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true." And then finally, the guy who came into the municipal building stands up. He goes, "It's true. I know everything." And he tells me the story that the man sitting next to me is my grandfather's brother. And he knew when I went into the municipal building, he knew that was me. And he was telling the story of my grandfather to them. And I lost it. I gave him a hug and a kiss. I still didn't believe it. I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea this. There was rumblings of stories back home, but you're never really sure about what they're saying, if it's true, if it's not. So here I am sitting steeped in history, trying to figure out if this is true or not. So he goes, "Come." So we went to the cemetery, and we made our way to the cemetery, and he showed me the lineage of my family, and my mind away, because then I started to recall all the things that my mother used to tell me. Because when my mother was sick and very, very ill, we used to talk about my grandfather while she was in bed, and we would talk about where he grew up and that she wanted to go back there, but she lost one of her older brothers, so they couldn't do it financially. They couldn't do it anymore, and that was her dream. So I'm looking at the cemetery. I'm looking at my great-grandfather, my great-grandmother, and all this stuff, and it blows my head. I'm saying, this has to be a movie. This is a movie. This is not really happening. So we end up going back and having lunch and spending this amazing day. And then I'll never forget this moment, ever. My cousin Turidu, who I am now very, very close with, we're sitting in front of the cafe. Peppino, my grandfather's brother, is sitting in the chair. And Turidu comes to me and he presents a key. And he says, "This is for you. Grandpa's house is your house." And I looked at him and said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "This is your house." I took the key and I said, "I'll be back next year." He goes, "I wait for you here in Lima." And lo and behold, I came back the next year and I did the film. I wrote all year, 6 or 7 months. I never wrote before. I don't even know how to write my name, Jim. I don't even know how to spell my name. And I'm like, you know what? I'm writing.
What, you don't spell it with an E at the end?
I was so I don't know. I don't. Yeah, right. And I was like, it was so inspired to the ground where your family's from, to see where he lived, that I started to write. And I wrote this whole screenplay, and I said, well, how am I going to afford to do this whole 2-hour film? Because it takes place in New York and Sicily. So I said, you know what? I'm going to craft it down into just Sicily. So that's what I worked on. 3 months, and I got it down to just Sicily, because I was able to shoot things that are very, very reasonable, and I knew the people in the town. And I went on to win a big award, a Russo Grant Award by the Russo brothers, the directors of Endgame. And I won a grant from them.
right?
And, yeah, so
NYAF.
Yeah, NYAF, and I ended up winning an award there. Yeah, and funny enough, it was $8,000. I think it was $8,000 to $10,000. $8,000. That was just enough to get me back to Sicily. So now I had to, I paid for all the money. I paid for everything myself. I had no actors.
Yeah.
People from the village. My cugino Turi played himself, and it was the most unbelievable. That's my cousin right there in the red, and that's his garden in Limina, in Sicily. Limina Messina, the provincia of Messina. And it just, yeah, this is my cousin, my wife, Salvatore, and myself. We're going into my grandfather's house for the first time. Wow. And it was unbelievable. It's like a shell of a house. It's like, just rocks and stone and everything. But that's cousin too. And the funny story too, when we were there, he goes, cousin, before I leave, he says, one more thing. And he grabs my wife and he puts her in the gelato truck, and they drive around town and they put the microphone on. Gelati from McKinney, gelati. And he's driving around the village with my wife, and they're going with the village. And he's a special guy, and the most rewarding I've ever had in my life. And I was an actor my whole life. And you know how many people told me not to do it? How many people said, don't do it, you're crazy, you'll never do it? This is me getting emotional.
Did they really? You had naysayers? Really? Wow. Crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because when they're not inspired, they're not passionate, and they're not from the heart. When you're in Hollywood, everything's stereotypical garbage, stereotypical mafia, stereotypical one-note movies that they write. This is from the soul, and everybody's like, well, no, it's not commercial. I wasn't doing it to do a commercial film. I was doing it because I was paying homage to the people who came before me, to the ancestors, and to my grandfather, to everybody that fought to give us a better life here. And I didn't forget that, and I'll never forget it. And all the work that I'm going to do in my life is going to represent them in some way. So this film went on, and still to this day, this is like 5 or 6 years now, it's touched people all over the world. They just called me in Sicily again. They want me to be the opening film at they're celebrating people going back to find their roots in Sicily again, and it's using my film. And at the Taormina Film Festival, which was the only American film to make the festival in 2020, but the COVID cut us loose there. But I won the World Fest of Houston with this film. And I remember somebody told me, he was a very prominent director, he said, if you cut 20 minutes out of the film, you can get an Academy Award nomination. I was like, well, I appreciate that, but I'm not really doing it for an Academy Award nomination. I'm doing it to honor the people. So I couldn't do that. I just had to leave it the way it was, and it resonates when you find your audience and you find the people that you need to find. The story takes on a story of its own, and it's been such an unbelievable, inspiring journey for me that continues. And I feel very blessed. I feel very blessed to be able to have met my family that I had no idea about. Never known if I didn't make the journey.
If you didn't make the journey, so, right?
Yeah.
For those who don't know, what does the word ritornato mean?
Ritornato means the return.
Right.
Return. So it's a little bit not perfectly whatever, but I just felt like it was a perfect word. The return, ritornato. To me, it was very, very beautiful and humbling. And
how did doing that and immersing yourself in it? I mean, you felt a lot of ancestral history around you. Now, you not only felt the family that current and maybe once or twice removed, but the whole thing from the beginning. What was it like? What were you experiencing? Were you on a high? Were you floating? Were you nervous? Were you everything?
I was everything. It was very emotional for me because I was representing my mother who died very young, and my grandfather, and a lot of people fought to give us everything that in this day and age people forget, and I think that's a heavy load to carry, but I did it with love and respect and honor. I didn't do it in a vulgarity. I did it with love, respect, and honor. And when I go to Sicily, when I go to Italy, the people love me because they know it's coming from the soul.
Right.
Because they want people to see they want to see the true people, who the working class people, the people that came and worked and my grandfather had no education. He had nothing. He worked as a laborer for like $6 an hour, $4 an hour. My father had a third grade education, worked as sanitation. these are people I give. And I felt the responsibility in my soul to give back to them, to honor them, and to anybody else, any ancestors, anybody like you from anywhere else, to pay respect to where you're from. I've done a lot of interviews, and I remember when I did the Karate Kid, a lot of podcasts, the kids would ask me, and I say, "Where are you from?" "Well, I'm from India." I said, "Did you go back and visit India?" "No." I said, "You got to go back." "Why?" "Because you have to honor your roots and you have to honor your family, no matter who you are, where you're from. You don't have to be Italian. You don't have to be this or that. You have to go back and pay respects to your family, see who you are, identify who you are, so that you can bring that to the next generation." So actually, my journey in May 1st, I'm bringing my son Mateo to do the same exact journey that I did when I went 5 years ago. I'm bringing Mateo to go to my grandfather's house, to see everything with me, to experience it with me, to take our journey as a family together. And I think everybody, and I speak to my Sicilian friends and my Italian friends, everyone needs to take their kids and their family back to their origins, wherever you are.
Yes.
This is my journey. This is who I am.
Right.
And this has set a fire in my soul so much that's unstoppable. I can't be stopped. I believe so much in this that I can't be stopped. It's so important to me that people recognize this. So that's why all my projects, I left Hollywood, or Hollywood left me. I don't know, but I lost interest in a lot of things, because every time that you went in for a part, Jim, it was a stereotypical mob guy or a thug or this or that. As an Italian American, Sicilian American, I didn't want to do it. And I was fortunate enough in some of those films that you saw. I won festivals all over the world with those films, and those were family films. But I couldn't make a living doing family films, independent films like The Street Sweeper. Won festivals all over the world. My Brother Jack, all over. I couldn't pay my bills by doing independent films, but I was doing it from my soul. And then I realized, you know what? It's not worth it. It's not worth it for me to try to go do another episode of the show when it means nothing to me. Let me go off and experience what I want to experience. And by doing so, and by releasing the stranglehold that they had on me, as far as where they wanted to pigeonhole me in my career, they wanted to pigeonhole me as this actor. I was released by myself. By writing, I was able to do what I wanted to do. And all of a sudden, all the doors have opened up incredibly wide for me. And I got the ear of kids all over the world. I presented my films to thousands of kids all over the world, in Poland and Sicily and Italy, at the University of Loyola in Chicago, Nazareth University, New Haven University, all over, everywhere, Piazza Armerina in Sicily. I'm incredibly lucky that I was able to inspire them and to be with them and to share history with them. This is the greatest gift that we can give anybody. And this is my journey. This is what I want to do with my life. This is my career. And I hope that my films and bring value to the world, and that people will appreciate it and respect me for it and respect the work. And that's really, that's my passion.
You know, what a beautiful thing.
Piazza Armerina, Sicily.
And you, like I said, you've been, the notoriety, the recognition in the media and the Italian media as well, it's even though you're from New York originally, it's almost like, hometown kid makes good. And they love the fact that you're paying homage to the culture and to the family and to all of it. And of course, with this other project too, which is another labor of love. Well,
this project is incredible. This project is incredible. This project, another one where everybody says you're crazy, don't do it. So many people, Jim.
When they say that, then you start the car and you do it. Right.
Exactly. When somebody tells
you're not going to tell a guy from Whitestone he can't do anything.
But this is funny, because this story, I was hearing this word carusi around Sicily, and I was like wondering, what does this word mean? This term carusi. And I would ask many people, and they would say, it's a crazy kid, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't understand. That doesn't sound right to me. So I started to read a little bit. And what fascinated me was Booker T. Washington wrote about carusi. And I'm like, Booker T. Washington, the African-American slave who became like a social economic professor and this wonderful man throughout the world. And So I read his book, and in his book, he talks about the Carusi, and the Carusi were child slaves in the sulfur mines of central Sicily. 8 years old, 6 years old, sold off by their families, abused in terrible conditions by the slave owners. And Booker T. Washington said, if you're a Carusi, it's worse than being in hell. It's worse than being an African-American slave. It's worse than that on a plantation. The Carusi were down 2,000 feet in a dark tunnel in 130-degree heat, naked, carrying stones of sulfur up hundreds of steps all day long, 12, 14 hours a day, with no food, minimal water, abused, hit. In a lot of their stories, they were raped by their owners. Just terrible, because there was no child labor laws back then. Even in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, there was no child labor laws. It only started in maybe the late 60s when I came in and started doing things differently. This film has there's people that went to work in the sulfur mines in Sicily that ended up going to, when the work dried up in Sicily, they went to Belgium, they went here, and they worked in the sulfur mine. And then he even came to America. A lot of people came to Pennsylvania and West Virginia, worked in the coal mines that were Sicilian. So, but when I started to do this thing, so I started. I said, "Do you know any?" They took me to the mines, and I believe that I was in the actual sulfur mines where he's getting me. So they were like 92, 90, 89. And I ended up meeting 5 of them. And I said, well, what am I doing? I'm gonna do a documentary right now. By myself. I'm doing it. I got a crew. 4 or 5 days of interviews with these men. And can I tell you that these men are superheroes in the world? What they endured, what they went through. But the greatest gift that what they did was they took care of their family. They sacrificed so much to raise their families. And when I met them, the emotions were palpable. I cried almost every day because I listened to what they went through. I listened to what they endured. But they said it didn't matter. As long as we could take care of our family, we could take care of what we need to take care of, then that's what we needed to do. Some migrated and left, but a lot of these guys in central Sicily stayed. A lot of people don't know about this story because it's prominent in the central part of the country, but it's been all over the world. I've been to universities all over the world. I've been to Poland, Krakow, Poland, all over Sicily, all over Italy. I'm going back again May 1st. I have seven school universities set up there with the children. Great story in Piazza Armerina. I went and I had the schools, and the kids would come from the school, and we would show the film in the auditorium. 300-400 kids at a time. Yes, that's it. In Piazza Armerina, Teatro. It was beautiful. And we watched the film, and then we'd get on the bus, and we would go to the actual sulfur mine with them. I would go with them, and we would go through the history lesson together. And I would show them where this one worked. This one worked. This is where this. And can I tell you, some of the kids, the emotions that they had, finding out that their great-grandfathers and grandfathers worked in the sulfur mines. They didn't know the history. They knew World War II. They knew this, that, but they didn't know about the sulfur mines. I was on the news with them, Rai News in Italy, and it was incredible to see the response, how they took in all the history, how we embraced as a family together, and how they felt about me. Like I was an outsider, even though I'm Sicilian. I was an outsider telling their story, and I told it from a place of respect and homage, because when these men were working, they were peasants and slaves. I looked at them as superheroes, and I approached them in that manner. To me, that's To me, that's who they were. And all of a sudden, when people started to see that and they read the first reviews, everybody wanted to watch the film because it was a different perspective. And now the people in Sicily look at it differently because now they're saying, wow, he's looking at them like that. Why aren't we? So they've requested me so many times to go back. I'm going back again. And it's a labor of love. And, I won't do it, but it didn't matter. And, the thing that I find fascinating is that they couldn't believe that some Sicilian American kid from New York came back to tell their story of love, pain, passion, and used his own money to bring this story to life. And it's the greatest gift I've ever received. It's the greatest gift I could ever receive, to be part of that culture, to be part of them, to be embraced like family from them. Everywhere I go there, I was made town ambassador for maybe 7 or 8 towns already. And my ancestral town of Limina, I was the first person to have the honorary citizenship. And that was an incredible emotional experience for me. And I walked that walk for my grandfather, my mother, who never had a chance to go home. It's just, it changed my life. It's changed my life in so many ways. And I feel very, very grateful. And I love Sicily very much. It's from my soul. I love Italy very much. And I'm hoping, that I always get into battles with people because it's like we're always doing things that don't represent the true nature of what the Sicilian culture is or the Italian culture is. It's a beautiful culture of art, Renaissance, food, music, just so much history. And yet they choose to go the cheap route, the commercial route, with all the garbage films that they do. Now, there's great films about Italy. We know that, The Godfather and The Great Sopranos, but they're rare. They're rare films. And then when they do another film about something like that, it becomes like a stereotype of that film, and it gets progressively worse. But there's so many things to talk about, so many wonderful things that we could do to help our cause, like other cultures are doing. I'm hoping that we can inspire them. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to spread the message on my neverforgetyourroots.com is my new website, by the way, neverforgetyourroots.com. I have craziness. I have Never Forget Your Root hats. I have there Never Forget Your Root hats, my cups, Sicily cups, and all these things that I'm trying to do to just bring us some inspiration. Bring us some newfound respect, a newfound eye, so the younger generation can start to recognize and appreciate that even though they're so far removed, that they are the holders. They need to push our culture forward. We need the younger generation. So I do, and I see what their families are like. And for me, it's the greatest gift. It's even with the next Karate Kid. It's funny because a lot of the kids know me all around the world. So using that as a tool to get their attention, get their attention to listen, because they love the film so much. They want to listen to me talk about other things. And if I can use that to get them to talk about cultural things, then that's a win for us. So
they want to hear Cobra Kai.
This has been the journey. Oh, please. And if I could tell you about Cobra Kai,
well, I was saying we had Sean Kanan on last week. You know Sean, of course, right?
Yeah, well, Sean and I would probably have to get into it on Cobra Kai, and I'm willing to do it anytime you want. So I'm ready. So we'd have to get into it in battle. Which
right
is not
here
a
live on the Jim Masters show. It'll be a pay-per-view
Let's
event.
do it. Let's go. I would love to do it. I would love to. No, listen, God bless. I'm very happy for him. They've written so much stuff about who's going to be on. Michael's going to be on. Hilary's going to be on. This one's going to be on. You know what? Here's how I feel. Years ago when I did the movie, I was like, Karate Kid, who cares? Whatever. Never did I think that 25 years later, it would be the biggest, hottest thing in the world. And can I tell you how grateful I am and how humble I am to have been part of such a greatest franchise in the world, that I'm known all over the world. And it just gives me an opportunity to share and talk to people. And I'm grateful. So thank you so much, the Karate Kid franchise, that I'm part of the Bad Boy group. And
Ralph
I feel very blessed,
Macchio.
extremely blessed.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
they're all wonderful. Ralph's great, and Pat was
Oh, Sarita. Yeah.
oh man. I remember we were doing a reshoot after we finished the next Karate Kid. We had to do a reshoot, and we came up with a different ending for my character, and it was to try to redeem his character, to get him to learn a lesson, which a lot of the bad boys don't do. But so I did the take, and after the take, Pat came over to me and he's like, "Michael, that's good. That's good. No change. No change. Perfect. You're beautiful." I never forgot that as long as I live as an actor, that he came over and did that. I have so much respect for him, and he was brilliant, because you never saw what he was doing. Like, and it was so small. But when you see it on the screen, it's like it hits every note. And I just remember those moments, with him and talking with him. And listen, I was a young guy, and I'm on the set of doing the greatest film ever, greatest franchise, and I was a nowhere actor, and you get an opportunity to be part of this project, and it's like almost like, wow, it's surreal. And then when you're there, and now many years later, you look back and say, wow, Jerry Weintraub, the greatest franchise, probably one of the top franchises of all time. To be part of it and to be the leading bad guy, he's like working across from an Academy Award-winning actress, Hilary.
It's incredible.
I mean,
and
really?
some of those other
Yeah,
things, like we mentioned, The Sopranos. I mean, that's another that would have talk about a
I'm very
franchise, huh?
grateful.
God.
Yeah, the greatest. Great. It's funny. I met Michael Imperioli years earlier. I met Michael. My light went out, unfortunately, on a movie that we did. My light just went out. Sorry.
He's going incognito because it's because we mentioned The Sopranos. Look what happened. He's now.
Let's see if this does this.
We now have to blur. We have to blur the image so you can't see him.
No. But what happened was, I'm going to put the light on my phone. I think the other one died. Hilarious. But what happened was,
it's all part of it, right?
I met Michael. We were up for the same part, actually, me and Michael and I. And in this movie, Last Man Standing, we were battling down to the wire, actually, between him and I. And fortunately for him and unfortunately for me, he ended up getting the lead part, but I ended up working with him the whole time for 6 months. We became very friendly. But I was really, really, and it's funny because we were on the set of the movie at the time, and he was talking about how he was going in for this audition. I'm like, what is it? Yeah, it's Sopranos. Nobody thought it was going to be anything. Boom. It became the greatest show, and the greatest show on TV probably. And I'm happy for him that he ended up getting it. And I did it, of course, but good for him. James Gandolfini was wonderful. The actors on that show were incredible, and
NYPD Blue,
listen, to work with
classic.
That was great. I did that. Yeah, they're great guys. Dennis Franz was an amazing man, great actor, and to work with them. It's funny. I had auditioned for that. Show 9 times.
Did you really?
I couldn't get arrested. One day, I was working somewhere, and I was at the gym working out, and they called my agent. Goes, "You got to be down there in an hour." I'm like, "An hour? Get down." So I get down there. It's like 14 pages of dialogue. I'm like, "Oh my god, this is you're going into producers. You got to be ready." Oh, I said, "Oh my god, this is going to be horrible." But some reason, God was on my side that day, and for some reason, the scene resonated with me, and I did the audition, and the director at the time was Gwyneth Paltrow's brother, Jake. And I literally got up and walked 3 steps to the door and said, "Michael, you got the part." It's like, what?
Wow.
9 times I auditioned for the show, and I get it like in 30 seconds. So, it was great. I was very lucky. Just very lucky. Just a lot of things. And, when I had, ER was fantastic. ER was fun. It's funny about that. Now that I have my son, Mateo, I was in ER. I remember I was on the stage, and there was like 1,000 babies laying around. Rubber babies, like this, alien invasion of babies.
Yeah.
But, it was an amazing experience, and unfortunately for me, when you lose people in your life and you get sidetracked, and I had to go back to New York several times, and I kind of lost my way. And I decided, like I said, to just start my own stuff. And this is where it's going. And it's actually changed not only my life, but my creative life. And it's really fulfilled a lot of things. I wrote a series already. Got 5 screenplays ready to go. Ritornato, La Porta dell'Inferno. I just finished another one called a Sicilian Slice of Life that I just finished. What Happened to Sunday Dinner? I have another series. I wrote a little in this a historical project called 1891. So I got some things going. So I hope the next one in September. And I'm also working on a couple of documentaries on the culture and the Italian culture, and you know, we're going to keep moving forward. We're going to do the best we can. We're going to keep moving forward, and I feel privileged to be in this position.
Would you say that you were always an old soul early on, even as a kid? Were you always aware of, you know, what really mattered in life and the people that were around you? Like my folks have always said, Jim, you've always been an old soul, even when you were a kid. How about you?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's, you know, my wife, because you like to learn a lot, you think you like to ponder. I find myself around them a lot. I love the wisdom. I love to learn from them. I love to be inspired by them. I think we don't appreciate them enough in the world. I think we don't appreciate the wisdom. We don't take advice well. I think a lot of us are narcissistic and arrogant in a lot of ways. And I try to be humble. I try to listen. I try to be respectful. I try to take a lesson, learn a lesson, and grow. But when you have tough things in life, and you know, and you have loss, and you have, you know, you have to go through difficulties, but that teaches you about who you are. It teaches you character. It teaches you how to move forward, and I think that's a great gift. You know, sometimes pain could be the biggest gift. You just have to use it the right way, and I try to use it in my work. I try to use the pain in a positive way. I try to focus on good things, not to be angry or depressed. I try to focus on positive. Memory inspires me every day. So, and you know, I think about her all the time. I think about her in the work that I do. I think about how she thinks about me as a man, as a father. That means a lot to me. And I always think about the decisions I make. And I try to tell people, like, guys, you know, think about who you are. Think of who you represent. And like, that's the same thing with, like, in film and television. I say to guys, think about what you're doing right now. Because you may be playing this part and it's fun, you'll make $1,000, but look what you're representing. Look how you're representing us. Is that worth it for a paycheck? I don't know. It's not for me. So I try to do what I think is right for my soul. I'm not sure that it's right for anybody else. I'm not looking for anybody else. But for me, my heart is full. My heart is full.
It's as if everything you do going forward,
yeah,
there's a piece of all of them with you, guiding you and inspiring you, the family.
Jim, you couldn't have said it better, because I feel like I can't lose in life. I can't lose in life when I have that behind me. I can't lose in life when I know that people, you know, sacrificed so much for me and gave me so much and tried to give me a good education, raise me the right way, and try to give me things to make me understand. And when you go through life thinking you know everything, and you think that you know about everything, and you don't listen to people, and you don't want to meet different kinds of people, to me that's arrogance, and it's stupidity. That's why the Sicilian people to me are so beautiful, because they're humble, they're beautiful. You know how many times friends just let me into their house and fed me? They didn't even know me. Like, I know them for 3 days, or lend me their car, or stay at my house. It's incredible, the love and respect, and how they open their arms and bring you in. And you only can learn that if you're willing to open your arms, and you're willing to open your arms to other things. And that's what I try to do. I try to really, really open my arms to those people, and it's abundance, right? Abundance is a good thing. I think abundance is so. A lot of guys that I didn't realize, like, there were so many people like me. I just had to find them. So once that door opened with ritornato, nella porta, I find so many guys call me, Michael, you're inspiring. Michael, we got to work that. Michael, we got to do this. And I have so much respect for these men because you know what? They've been carrying the torch a lot longer than I have. So to them, I nod my cap. You guys are me. I'm to work with you guys. And you know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to mention names, but all the guys that I'm going to be working with in future, I respect you, and we have a lot of work to do, and we're going to inspire each other and inspire the world. That's our journey. So we'll continue on. We're going to do it. Absolutely.
That is so beautiful. You know, it takes a village. It takes people who care and who are on a similar wavelength of, you know, understanding what it's all about and what life is all about, and this precious, fragile journey that we're on, which I think is, you know, sometimes in the craziness of our society, it's lost. You know, everything is about next, next, next. And we don't take a moment to celebrate the things that got us to be where we are, and the people and the sacrifices. It's so incredibly important, you know, and I've always been somebody who has taken a moment to remember and celebrate and cherish. Even Bobby Mann too, because he says Holy Cross in the house. Bobby Mann says Holy Cross is in the house. Good to see you, Bobby Mann.
Hey, Bob, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
Hi, Bobby. How are you, sir?
That's it. Watching everybody.
Bobby. Nice to see you. Bobby Mann.
Bobby's all excited, I'm sure now. Yeah. He had a question too. Sopranos Con. Yes. Have you ever been asked to appear in Sopranos Con? That's kind of interesting. He froze a little bit, but what a good smile. You know what I mean? I think his Wi-Fi is a little funky, maybe a little tricky. Yeah. You noticed that you heard some clicking and different things. That's the Wi-Fi on his end was probably a little weak, or maybe there was something interfering, but he's coming back. He's a trooper. Here he comes. There he is.
We lost you.
Welcome back. You froze, but it was a great smile that you had.
But I want to say something about you, because you're saying something that I could see. You're a very beautiful person the way you said that, because I think that that's it's an important thing that we all should recognize, is that you have to take a minute and reflect and think about how lucky we are and the gifts that we have. When I go to Sicily, Jim, it really slows down for me, and I could sit and I could appreciate everything I have. I could look around, see my friend Rosario. My friend Rosario in Sicily, I use him as an example. He makes maybe $1,000 a month, and Michael, come to the house for dinner. Michael, let's go here. Michael, let's go that. Nothing matters, but we're friends, and it's love, and it's life. And he offers me this. Come stay at my house. I don't care. Stay there. We need to live a little bit like that. We need to figure this out. You know what I mean? We need to do better, is what I'm saying. Yes. For all of us. So I don't know. That's how I feel. I'm moving there in a year or so. So I'm working on my citizenship. So that's another thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. You have a place there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So COVID has hung me up a little bit with the citizenship, but we'll get it back. We'll do what we got to do. It's all right. We're on our way. So
that's cool.
I will tell you this: when I had Matteo, I find myself sometimes. It's funny. I went in the car the other day. I just started crying. I just started bawling. Sure. I was like, wow, it's like he's here, like this little man that we tried for so long to have, and all of a sudden he's here. He's part of my life, and it's another gift, and it just inspires me even more. I'm like, look at this guy, look at him, look at the world with those eyes, and just kind of look at the world and be happy and smile. And I'm just trying really to be present. I'm trying to really to be a person, a daddy that's here and with them, and I just feel grateful, bro. I just feel very grateful.
It's a
I
great
feel grateful to be
place.
here, by the way.
The pleasure is
Thank
all
you so
mine.
much.
With all of the accolades and being on stage and television and film and everything else, I think through all of it, the triumph, the tragedy, the sadness, the happy times, you've come to experience in an even deeper level than even prior, even though you were already a deep person,
Yeah,
ways
yeah.
to express the appreciation and the gifts. You mentioned that it's been such a wonderful thing to receive when going to Italy and everything, but it's also an incredible gift that you're giving others in telling these stories and bringing us back to a central place of family and focus and what it's all about. For some people, even faith is part of that. Whatever it is,
Sure.
to come back, because we are in a crazy place in the world right now
Yes.
where we're going away from all
Yes.
of those things. And it's those
Yes.
things that ground us through some of the roughest, craziest, unpredictable times in our lives, right?
Yeah. I tell a quick story. I was showing La Porta dell'Inferno. I just want to make a quick story. I think it's a great story because it just tells you where you should be at the time that you should be there. My wife and I were at a little a park. We're looking at some old what do you call it, relics and stuff like that. We were supposed to leave on a Wednesday, and I was supposed to meet the mayor of this town, Piazza Armerina, on like the Thursday. No, I was supposed to meet him on Monday, and he says I can't do it. And we're supposed to leave like in 2 days. I said I can't drive all the way back. He goes, well, that's the only time I can meet you. If you can come Wednesday. So I looked at my wife. She was across the car. I said, can we stay? She looks at me. I said, we need to stay. So long story short, we met with the mayor. And I sat across from him. We talked. And he goes, and he's, we translated. He goes, what do you want? He said, what do you want? I said, well, you know what I want? I want to show this film to the kids. He goes, when? You tell me. So the guy goes to me, goes, December. I said, okay. My wife looks at me, her eyes went cross. What do you mean, December? December is like in a month, and we're supposed to go home. And we were trying to have Mateo, and we were trying to do things. And when we left, I said, honey, this is the time. This is the moment. This is it. This is everything that we worked for. It's here. It's present. We got to take the opportunity. We must take this opportunity. So she said, okay. We went back in December, and my friend Rosario, who I just met maybe 2 months earlier, the one I was telling you about before, they created this whole event. We marched in a procession through the streets of Piazza Armerina, celebrating the sulfur miners and the fireworks. And then we ended up at the Teatro Garibaldi in Piazza Armerina. And we showed my film. The theater hadn't been open in 2 years. We showed the film. We got a standing ovation. And there, it actually really, really opened the doors and broke the doors open. And if I didn't stay and make that decision, Jim, at that moment, maybe we're not even having this conversation today. And maybe this film goes nowhere. Maybe nothing happens. So you're in the moment. You got to know what you want. You can't be afraid. You can't have fear. You got to know that you're ready. Prepare. And then when it's there, you take it. You squeeze the throat, you squeeze it, and you squeeze it as hard as you can. And that's what I did. And I feel very, very grateful. It changed so much for me. And I remember showing the film. And after the film, two Carusi who worked, this is La Porta dell'Inferno, two Carusi that worked in the sulfur mines at 12 years old, looked across the theater and they looked at each other. They hadn't seen each other in 50 years. 50 years since they were 12 years old. And can I tell you, everybody in the place was crying hysterical. They hugged, they were kissing. And I was privy to that. It was not because of me, but only because I did the film that I brought them together and their families together. They were hugging and crying. I said, if that's what I get, if that's the only thing that I get from this movie, then it's been worth it for me. And everybody could see that actually on my neverforgetyourroots.com new website will be up tonight, and also the trailer. You'll be able to see this stuff. But crying hysterical, hugging each other. And I'm crying hysterical. I don't even know these families. And I'm with them in the middle. And there was a senator there from Rome. He spoke English. He pulled me aside. He goes, Michael. He goes, you realize what you did? I said, I don't know. He goes, you're telling our history. You're telling our story is beautiful. Fabrizio Tredecotti from Rome, a senator, he brought my film to Rome, and he was crying. I mean, you know, he's a 35-year-old man. He's crying with me, and we're all crying, and we're all there. And if that's what I got from this film, then that's what I got. But everywhere I go, people cry. Everybody gets emotional. Everybody can't believe, wow, this is a ridiculous story. But they like the fact that we tell it from a heartfelt place, because it's a very, very rough story. It's a rough story, but you tell it from a place of love, and you try to pay respect. And it's amazing, dude. It's amazing. I smile a lot because I'm very lucky.
That's a beautiful place to be. What would the Michael of now say to that 10-year-old version of Michael?
Buckle up, kid. It's going to be a rough ride, but you're going to make it. Don't worry. You'll be fine. Just keep going.
That's what it's about, right? That's exactly
put your head down. Put your head down. Be brave. Go. You'll do it. Take the journey. Don't be afraid. Take the journey. It's scary sometimes, and you know what? You got to be brave enough to do it. You got to do it. Be inspired. Prepare yourself and go. That's what I would say. That's what I'll tell my son.
Mateo as well, exactly. Yeah. And you spent so many years, you know, entertaining us in front of the camera. You must really be enjoying having this opportunity to write, direct, produce, and be the one telling and crafting the stories too, huh?
Yeah, it's really interesting to me. A different point of view. Like I'm a very, very sensitive kind of. I don't know. I'm emotional. I'm a very passionate person. So you look at me and everybody thinks I'm a tough guy from the Karate Kid. Oh, the tough guy, whatever. But I'm very, very sensitive, very vulnerable, and I like to make my characters that way. But it's also a way to talk to people and to really get to the core of who they are and give them a chance to really let out some of their feelings and their emotions, and to write. To write from a true experience, which is like Ritornato was a true experience about my father and my mother, is incredible. And to be able to get it out of my soul, and to be able to write the things that you love, and to write the way you want to write. And, everybody has their own thing. People don't have to love it. They don't have to like it. It doesn't matter to me. It's really coming from my heart. And if you believe in something enough, and you're passionate about something enough, it'll find its way and it'll find its audience. That's what I'm finding. A lot of people will respond because they see it on the screen. They see the love. They see the passion. They see the fight. They see the importance of it. And I think that if you can come from that place, you can't lose. If you have one moment in a film, if you touch somebody once, then you win. Then you win, in my opinion. If you can have a moment or two or three in a film, you win. So that's my journey, and that's what I've been doing. And I'll continue.
And you've been doing it rather nicely here on the Jim Masters Show, my friend. Absolutely. This was really an extraordinary conversation. We did about an hour, but it felt like it was, a New York minute. I felt like it was like that.
I want to thank you so much because, I've been out of it for a while, as we know, but to be here with you and to be somebody so wonderful and professional with a great following, and somebody from New York who's humble and I think has emotions like me. We come from the kind of same place. I'm grateful to you to allow me to be here, to be on the show, and hope that we could do this again. And thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I feel very, very, very humble to be here. Thank you so much, really.
The pleasure is absolutely all mine. And as I always say, we'll keep the porch light on for you. You're welcome back anytime, and spread the word about our entertainment lifestyle celebrity talk show series, The Jim Masters Show. And,
Absolutely.
I appreciate those kind words too. And my father from Astoria, when I was 7 years old, he told me this sage advice. And you know how the parents and grandparents and folks can tell you this sage advice, and sometimes there's just a few things that stick with you that you carry through, like you're doing in your life. And he said to me when I was 7, he goes, Jimmy, he says, always remember this. Whenever anybody says something kind or nice to you, always make sure that you thank them. Then ask them to please put those words in writing and address it management.
It's true. You're right. I got it.
Is
Smart
that a
man,
New?
smart man, your father.
Yes, from Astoria, 2 blocks from
What's the
Tony
street? Do you
Bennett.
remember?
38th Street and
What was the
Ditmars,
street? Do you know?
38th Street and Ditmars Boulevard.
I used to drop my father off on Crescent Street. I think it was 21st and Crescent Street. He used to work
And Tony
as a
Bennett,
limo driver in
35th
Astoria.
Street, right? Yes.
Wow. Good old Astoria. I spent a lot of time there. I worked in nightclubs there when I was younger. Front door.
It's a beautiful
stuff
place.
Like that.
We were there not that long ago, and there's a lot of cafes and restaurants, and
Yeah.
a lot of the people who work in Manhattan live in Astoria. There's a young population there of people who are working in Manhattan. Yeah, right across from the river. Astoria Park.
They built it up again. Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, I'm glad you're from one of us. That's awesome. You're awesome.
That's it. I tell you, right?
I tell you, now you're a big shot in Connecticut. Oh my God, help us all.
Well, I tell you, you're from New York when anything north of the Bronx, it could be White Plains, it could be Mamaroneck, you are going upstate for the weekend. And then you talk to somebody in White Plains and they're like, this is not upstate. Syracuse, Buffalo, that's upstate. We're not upstate.
I know. I do like upstate New York, by the way. I spent some time in Rochester and
Do
Buffalo.
you get back to the East Coast?
Yeah, I'm going. I've been back several times. I'm actually going to Toronto, Canada, which is not the East Coast. I'm going to Toronto, but I was supposed to go to Rochester to do RIT, but I can't get there because I'm going to Italy. But I was just back there. I was in Buffalo and Nazareth University a couple of months ago. But I haven't been back to the family. But I'll be back later this year. So
do you do speaking engagements? Do you speak to? You do lectures?
Yeah, I do personal.
Speaking?
Yeah,
that's great.
Personal appearances and speaking engagements. So yeah, I'm working on that, especially with the kids and inspirational speaking and stuff like that. So I'm very, very excited about that.
Good stuff.
I think I just like you. We just want to do good stuff and want to be positive in the world.
That's it. Connect with people, inspire, lift them up. Because when you lift them, you're being lifted too. Yeah.
Oh, listen, and I could say this. There's so many people that have helped me in my life when I was in the gutter, when I was down, when I had nothing, living in my car with my dog Rocky, and I can't even tell you. I can't give you how many names there were, but so many people pulled me up on my bootstraps and said, "Michael, we're going to help you. We're going to help you." They didn't say the words; they just helped me.
Right.
And I never forgot that. That's why I try to do the best. I try to give back. I try to do, pay it forward, abundance, give back, and I guess maybe that's why I'm on this journey now.
That's it. Exactly right. Yeah. And the journey continues, my friend. And thanks for making the Gym Master Show part of that journey. And as I said, we'll keep the porch light on for you. You are welcome back anytime. New friendship made here. And, you come across people sometimes who have done these incredible things and then they take it to another level like you are. That is, it's very cool when you meet people like that. So I wish you nothing but continued blessings and joy in your life, and continue to spread that good word, that love, and those good vibes. And we'll keep the light on for you, my friend. And I hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you.
I did, Jim. Thank you so much. I'm grateful. Thank you so much. Go Sicily. I love you. Italy. I love you. Thank you for everything, man.
I thought you were going to say go Mets. They could use it.
I'm a Yankee guy.
Please help those Mets.
The Mets, they're horrific. No, I got them. All right.
So I'm not. We're gonna have to. We'll have to edit where he said horrific and change the H to a T where he says terrific.
Yes, terrific. That's okay. They're terrific.
Terrific. Why Mets? My father, Brooklyn Dodgers. A lot of people that were Brooklyn Dodger fans, when they abandoned the city, they went, when the Mets were formed, they went with the gang at Shea. Yeah. Well, we used to always go. We went to Yankee games and Met games when we were kids. We went to both because when the Mets are out and the Yankees are in it, I'm going Yankee because I'm New York.
Same.
Yeah, I root for the area.
I do the same.
Yeah, I root for the.
Me too. Like if the Dodgers and the Mets play, I go the Mets. The Yankees and then it's the Yankees. But I go for New York teams for sure.
Yeah,
I'm a New Yorker, man. Never change.
That's
Never
it.
change. Never change. Never take it out of me, brother. Never. You can't pull it out of me. I'm not going to let you do it.
That's right.
Oh, man.
You can take the New Yorker out of New York, but you can't take the New York out of the New Yorker. That's it.
Absolutely. My wife too grew up in New York. She's Italian from Puglia, but she grew up in Mineola.
Oh, Mineola, yeah, sure, right, yeah. That's
my brother is in Floral. My brother's in Floral Park.
Floral Park.
Yeah, so that's not far. And I grew up in Whitestone. So my nephew's in Regal Park. So I got people. My best friend is in Flushing, New York. So I got them all there.
Flushing, yeah. Whitestone.
Yeah.
You could probably throw a rock at the Throgs Neck Bridge and the Whitestone Bridge.
I was literally the Whitestone Bridge was literally. I was on 10th Avenue. I think it was on 14th Avenue. When you exit, you make the exit. I remember when I was a kid, there was always a Carvel there. We exit off the Carvel on 11th Avenue. Coming over from the Bronx, and my grandmother go to the Carvel, coming over to the Whitestone Bridge. Oh, wow. That's a long time.
Did you ever try to climb the bridge when you were a kid? Scale the side of it? Because when we were in Astoria Park, we scaled part of the Hellgate Bridge. That wasn't easy.
Oh, my God. No. I'm going to tell you something. It's funny you say that to me because my friends and I were at Whitestone Park. I must have been, maybe I was 12, 13 years old. And there's a bench there, and it looks out into the water, and there's Whitestone Bridge that goes over to the Bronx. And people used to try to not scale, but kind of climb up. There's like a round pylon, and then you go up into the bridge. Well, one day we were there. Guy was climbing. I'm thinking, he'll be fine. He has a cable. There was a cable that you could hold and kind of pull yourself up. But you know what he did? He went all the way up and he jumped off the bridge. Committed suicide. Committed suicide. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I thought I was seeing things like I thought he was doing some kind of stunt.
That it was something that
we didn't know what was going on.
Had no idea that.
Oh my God.
And
I think it's funny. I think about that all the time. I say to myself, what was he feeling, man? What was that poor guy feeling like?
You never know what people are going through, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why I always, I always try to be kind. I always try to be nice. I always say a kind word. Even when I don't know anybody, how are you today? How's everything? You don't know what they're feeling. What does it take to be nice? Like I see an old lady walking down the street. How are you today? You look beautiful. How's everything? Can I help you with your bags? What do we know what they're going through? But why can't we give a nice gesture and be nice and be kind? We need more of that in the world, For me, that's what
Because now if you do that, you'll get slapped in the face and they'll say, how dare you say that to me?
Yeah. You get arrested for some kind of stupidity. Right? Oh my God.
Be in a courtroom because you said hello.
Exactly. Crazy world, Jim. Crazy world, right?
That's it. Where's Dr. Vinny Boombots when you need him?
Exactly.
You be well, my friend. Really, absolutely a great conversation. I call these conversations, not interviews, because I think conversations people get more out of. And this was a really cool one, my friend.
You're an awesome dude. I hope that we can do this again, and maybe I'll see you in New York when I come.
That's it. Slice of pizza.
You got it, baby. There's a great place. Do you ever go to Arturo's?
Oh, sure. That's a good one. Yeah.
It's fantastic. What's your favorite in New York? What do you got?
I bet you miss Carvel.
You used to get the helmet with the thing. I used to get the other one with the
Fudgy the Whale.
Oh my God.
Well, Bobby Mann said Carvel is still there, 14th Avenue. He says it's still there.
Yeah, I'm going to Carvel. Send it over, buddy. Send it over. That's great.
And he said Freddy's Pizza Whitestone.
That's still there. Wow, Freddy's is still there. Oh, he's from Bay Terrace, Bobby. He's a good man. Bayside Gables. Thank you, Bobby.
That's it.
Jim.
Doesn't that sound like a soap opera? Bayside Gables? Sounds like the name of a soap opera, doesn't it?
Honestly, the area was kind of
a soap opera.
Yeah, it's kind of soap opera.
The other side of the bridge.
I think that's where the. Yeah, exactly. But Ruby Rosa, is that a good one? Ruby Rosa is good.
Yeah, sure.
You ever have that?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some really good ones.
I said my wife. Every Friday night we eat a pizza here. She makes it here. It's amazing.
Good stuff.
Pizza.
You're gonna have that
I'm a
tonight,
lucky
or
man.
what's on the dinner? You're 3 hours behind us. What's on the menu tonight?
Unfortunately, my wife had to work tonight, so we'll have pizza tomorrow night.
So it's
She works at a Sicilian restaurant here, one of the
leftovers for
greats in
you
the city.
tonight, right?
Yeah, yes. Some soup or something. Anyway,
soup's on.
Oh my God, my life. Soup's on.
You be well, my friend.
Right.
If I had a glass of
so
wine,
much.
I would toast you. Ah, he's got. You be well. Nah, there it is. What does it say on there?
That's a carriage, original carriage from Sicily. And then in the back it says, "Never forget your roots."
Very cool. So now those items that we talked about, that you have, the shirts, the hats, and all these kinds of things, they'll be able to go to that website there, neverforgetyourroots.com, to get those things?
Yeah, they can buy. I have a shop there that hats, sweatshirts, cups, really cool stuff. So
very
really
good.
Cool. Thank you so much for saying that. And you guys can reach me on Facebook, Michael Cavalieri. I'm always available to talk to people. You can messenger me. I'm on Instagram, Ritonato_the_movie_ or La Porta dell'Inferno Film. I'm around.
Know. I hope you know what you just unleashed.
Oh God, no, it's all good. It's all good. Trust me, I get stuff that I shouldn't say.
That's.
I had a guy the other day. He goes, "You want?" He says to me, "Because I could take you." He goes, "You're not so tough." He said, "Like they think I'm Ned." I'm like, "I'm guys. What are you saying? I could take you."
Acting, yeah.
Right. Oh my God, it's hilarious. But anyway, I'm grateful. Thank you so much for everything you said today. I appreciate it. The lead-in had me in tears, by the way. Thank you so much. I'm honored and privileged. Thank you, Jim.
Pleasure is mine, my friend. You be well, Michael, and the best of the family, okay?
Okay, brother. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much. Ciao, ciao.
All right. You take care. How cool was that, gang? Great conversation, extended exclusive conversation, as we have here on the Jim Masters Show, these extended exclusive conversations with amazing guests coming in from all around the world. And this was really cool. Talking about lots of great things, including this movie, Ritonato. Got to check that out, gang. And also this latest work. We talked about this as well, and showed you some behind the scenes in Italy of the making of Ritonato. And now, of course, you know what that means in case you didn't know what that meant. The return. And there he is at his grandfather's grave. And really cool stuff, huh? And of course, I know you guys are excited. We talked about some of the major shows and series that he's been a part of on your television screens, in your movie theaters, all the rest. Cool stuff, huh? Just the short list, folks, of this iconic career that continues. Some really, really great performances in these. But of course, inspiring the kids, lifting people up, telling the stories, never forgetting. That's what it's all about, he says. And he's actually living it, which is really a cool place to be. Through the good times, the success, the Hollywood glitz, glamour, and glory, to not so good times and dealing with life and loss and unpredictability of life, but yet sailing through it by doing what he can to lift himself up, lift others up, and take that along with his proud heritage and going back to Italy and celebrating, doing research, digging, telling the stories, and sharing it with us. Very cool to have him here on the show, right? Michael Cavalieri, an award-winning television and film actor extraordinaire and director and writer and producer here on the Jim Masters Show Live series. Gang, if you enjoyed this while you're watching us here on the YouTube channel, here's some homework for you. It's very easy. Doesn't cost anything. Just give us a thumbs up like on the YouTube channel. That helps us grow, and more people around the world, millions more, get to see these episodes in our international audience. Give it a like, share this episode on your social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, and be sure to leave a comment. Leave a comment on this episode on the channel. We would really appreciate that. And those of you who do that, that means the world to us. Thanks so much for doing that. Going to take a look at a couple of the comments here as well. Kathleen in New York City, thanks for watching and being here. Bobby Mann, appreciate that as well. And you enjoyed the interview. Appreciate that. And Dino is here. Thank you very much, Dino. You have the same cup that you ordered from his online store. That is awesome. Good to have you with us, Dino. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show. Michael has a great online store with awesome products. Everybody check that out. Jen Berry in Pennsylvania. Michael, I love our real Italian tomato pie. The real. Salute, she says. And Mineola, which is in New York on Long Island, has lots of good pizza. And Bobby was talking about Carvel and all these other great pizza places. And thanks to everybody for all these great comments. Kathleen enjoying herself in New York City. Jane watching in Sweden. Bobby's been to this wonderful pastry shop in Astoria, Queens, New York City. Really cool stuff. I'll have to check that out the next time we are bouncing around the metropolis, Gotham, NYC. And look at all these comments coming in here. This is great. Thanks, gang. We appreciate all this. And Sherry Larson and Merlin and everybody, all the earlier welcomes, welcoming Michael to our show. Very, very cool. Thanks, gang. We appreciate that. So nice to have you here. And come see us again. We are very excited to have you guys here. Now, we're going to be celebrating the Irish tomorrow. And this is really cool because we have a legend on our show, which I'm very, very excited about. And it's this gentleman here. For 40 years, he's been a musician from Ireland and a singer and songwriter. And he is the founder and creator of the legendary Irish band. And they're touring America right now. They're here from the States. This is Derek Warfield from Derek Warfield and the Young Wolf Tones. And they are touring the United States right now. Derek is a very special guest exclusively on the Jim Masters Show tomorrow, Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, live. And that's 8 o'clock for those watching GMT, UK, Ireland. So you'll be able to catch this great episode coming up. He shares some wonderful stories, some new music that's on their album, and also the tour. Yeah. Did you see when Rosalind Kind, Barbra Streisand's sister, was here, or Stanley Livingston from My Three Sons, or legendary actor or actress, the incomparable Anne Margaret was here, or the Dick Van Dyke celebration that we did on the Jim Masters Show Live? All of these great episodes are here for you. So thanks for being with us, gang. Always means the world for you to be here with us. And check out all of the cool things that our very special guest, Michael, is doing. And come see us again. We'll keep the porch light on for you, as we always like to do, here at JMS. I'm your host, Jim Masters, saying, I thank you for your time this time. Till next time, don't forget to love one another and take care of one another and take care of yourself. And don't forget to love yourself. And we'll be right here waiting for you on that. See what that says back there? The Jim Masters Show. All right, gang. You be well. Thanks for being with us. And another epic episode in the books. And a great guest. And all of you here. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.